At this time, I'd like to call to order our public hearing. First, Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas report. Dr. Ball, who's making this?
Scott. As soon as Roger finishes,
Sorry.
he'll start his beautifully brief presentation.
Beautifully brief presentation.
Oh my goodness. There you go.
Sound like a directed.
There you go, sir.
All right. Well, good evening, members of the board, Dr. Ball. Tonight we are presenting our first report, which is the TEA way to measure school district finances. So it's a public hearing, so we'll get started. All right, so what is the first report? Well, the first report is the way we measure the financial integrity of the school system and how we're doing compared to the other systems in the state. So our job is to hold a public hearing once a year to go over the results, and then you can achieve an A, B, C, or an F. So we earned an A, so that's very good. Very exciting, 21 years in a row for that award. That's a very exciting, yes, thank you. All right. Now tonight we'll be talking about results from the 2022 fiscal year, so that's a couple of years ago, but still it's exciting just nonetheless. All right. And as we said earlier, this is from the 2022 fiscal year. Away we go. All right, so there are 20 base indicators for the first report, and I will not read through all 20 of them, but I'll touch on a couple of them. Right here we have questions 1 through 5. The first two questions really talk more about turning in the audit on time, turning in some of the paperwork on time that we have to do, and that we had a clean audit with no material weakness. So that's pretty important. We'll hear those same terms again later on tonight. All right, the next set of questions right here, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 6 and 7 discuss the fund balance, and Southwest ISD in 2022 had a very strong fund balance. As you can see, they had approximately 6 months fund balance in reserve, so that's very good. All right. The next set of questions are there for you to read later on. All right. Question 13, this one's a good one. It talked about the administrative cost ratio. What this ratio shows is that Southwest ISD is in line with proper spending in this category and that we're not spending too much on our administrative costs. And so that's reflected in this ratio right here. Southwest ISD received all 10 points for this. So that's good. All right. Questions 14 through 16, very exciting. All right. The last set of questions here talk about the same kind of thing. Talk about the audit, no material weaknesses in internal controls, and that the district passed their audits and had with flying colors. All right, now we go. Now we move into the additional disclosures in the first report. And so we'll get started with those. Here we have the superintendent's contract. It's required to be posted online, and we have the current superintendent's contract available for review on the website. Next disclosure talks about reimbursements received by the school board and the superintendent from fiscal year ending 2022. All right. Next disclosure is from 2022. Any outside compensation or fees received by the superintendent, we had none reported. Next disclosure, any gifts received by executive officers or board members, none reported. Any business transactions between school board and board members, none reported. And that concludes the first report. Hopefully that was within the time parameters allotted. All right, any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. On number 11.
Number 11.
Was the ratio of long-term liabilities to total assets, et cetera, we received 8 of a possible 10 points.
Yep.
Is that something that we?
It takes your formula
It's formula based, so they take your assets versus your liabilities. And our our assets could be anything from property to the cash on hand to our investments, and they compare that to your liabilities. We do have some strong liabilities like TRS, payment every year, so a lot of districts struggle with keep like the full 10 points, but having a strong fund balance kind of counters that, so.
Okay, and then also the next one, with the debt for $100 of assessed property value, it says we got 8 of the 10, is that the same?
Correct. What they do is they took your total debt, like how much money have you borrowed, they look at your property value, because the majority of the funds that you receive from taxes, based on your property value, is what pays for your debt. And so they look at that formula and they say, okay, is this district, based on what they're taxing and the property values within the district, they make enough money to pay off their debt? And the more debt you take on, obviously the more money you need to make, and so they look at that and they weigh that.
Okay, and then is that pretty normal? Is that
I
what
think
you
so.
all
I think-
8 of 10?
I think that 8 of 10 ours might actually be a little bit, we may go down next year,
Mhm.
because we just passed a bond and borrowed 200 million, so they're gonna look at that. And so we may actually have it take a little bit of a hit because of the amount of debt we have. So it's a good thing to borrow the money to go and invest in your schools, but at the same time, it's like taking on, it's kind of looking at your credit, how much debt you have versus what you're making. I will point out 13 is something that I tracked, we've been tracking over time. This is the first time we got all 10 points. And what they do is they look at your administrative costs, they look at your central office, like how much are you spending at your administrative level compared to what you're spending on your campus. This is the first time we got all 10 points, showing that we're very good stewards of our funds, spending that money on campus level positions versus being like what most people say, oh, the districts are top heavy, they have all this staff. But this shows, this is an indicator by TA that shows that we're not.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon.
Thanks, Scott, and the whole team. This is our 21st year, but we have a whole group of people looking at our finances that, on a day-to-day basis, that play a major role in this, so.
Okay, at this time, any other board members have questions? Anyone in the public have any questions on the first report? Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you.
And this meeting is now closed at 5:52. Good evening. Call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock on the 16th of January. Happy New Year and welcome back, everyone. I hope everyone had a good break, much needed, I'm sure. And I'd like to begin our meeting today with Roger giving us an invocation and then our pledges to the flags.
Please stand. Lord, as we begin this new year, let us take a moment to reflect on the past and anticipate the possibilities that lie ahead. May the coming months be filled with unity, wisdom, and shared purpose. We also extend our heartfelt blessings to our esteemed board members during this Board Appreciation Month, thanking them for their dedication and service. May their efforts enrich our community and guide us toward a future filled with success, collaboration, and goodwill. We ask that you bless those in attendance and their loved ones with a year of growth, harmony, and positive achievements, as all things are possible through you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
You know, in this type of setting, it's kind of hard to say Happy New Year because our year started in August, huh? But let's continue having a great school year with our calendar year. Okay, at this time, recognitions.
All right. We do have some student recognitions today. First off, we're going to start with Indian Creek Elementary. Let's welcome Haley Aranda. Indian Creek's choice for SWIST's Outstanding Student of the Month is 5th grader Haley Aranda. Haley is a student who has shown many of her leadership qualities in all of the extracurricular clubs to which she commits herself daily. Her teachers and friends know that Haley is the go-to person. Besides being a kind, compassionate, and funny friend, All of Haley's teachers can attest that she is a model student. She understands that hard work keeps her on the A honor roll and perfect attendance list. She puts first things first for her academic success, but always has time to be a good friend. Haley is an ambitious, global, goal-oriented young thinker. She is, without a doubt, Southwest. Okay. Next up, we have from Crewald School of the Arts, Cortez Tucker. Cortez is a 5th grade student at Crewald School of the Arts. His resilience and effort make him a standout student. Cortez continues to inspire his teachers and peers with his determination and perseverance in the classroom. He works hard to keep a positive mindset and keeps himself from getting discouraged. His commitment to learning and self-improvement has been a true joy to witness. Cortez plans to excel in school, someday become an athlete, and attend LSU. This coyote makes his teachers proud, and they are excited to see all the amazing things that are yet to come. Congratulations, Cortez.
Before you continue, I don't know if anybody mentioned, but this young man immediately, we don't know each other, okay? But he immediately made an amazing first impression on me. He came right here and sat right next to me. So in case you ever want to, you could be a superintendent. It's a fun job.
All right. All right, next up, we have Matthew Gonzalez from Scobie Middle School. Scobie Middle School is blessed to have many super students. This month, we would like to recognize Matthew Gonzalez. Matthew is an 8th grader at Scobie and is a fine example of what it means to be a campus leader. He is a dedicated individual whose compassion and kindness for others illuminate everyone he encounters. His demeanor, open-mindedness, dependability, and peaceful nature make him an ideal individual to work with. His commitment to excellence is exemplified in his honors coursework and makes him an exceptional candidate for future dual credit courses at high school. Matthew is a top scholar musician and leader in the Scobie Middle School award-winning sweepstakes wind ensemble. He is also recognized as one of the top percussionists by qualifying year after year in the highly recognized top region band of San Antonio. He has won a first division rating in the solo and ensemble contest. The high school Dragon Band will look forward to having him join their ranks next year. He is an active member of the Scobie Walking Club and enjoys writing in his free time. Matthew can always be seen supporting all different kinds of clubs and organizations, from athletics to anything happening in school. The future looks bright for Matthew. He wants to be an anesthesiologist after high school. So we will be guiding him to follow his medical pathway at Southwest High School. Currently, he is interested in attending Carnot Ward University. Congratulations, Matthew. Next up, from Cass STEM High School, we have Zane Hawk. Cass STEM High School is proud to recognize Zane Hawk for being such a dedicated student and a great advocate for the campus. Zane is a 9th grader, and despite being at Cass STEM for only 4 months, he has made a name for himself. He is passionate about his work, and his smile lights up any room. Zane currently participates in the Electrothon team, has started and runs the Cass STEM Cricket Club, and serves as the club president. He also participates in the Technology Student Association and Student Council. Outside of school, he plays soccer, cricket, and race karts. In addition, he also runs a conglomerate that has a clothing company and his own soccer club. Zane wants to pursue an MBA at Rice University and hopes to one day successfully establish his own company and become an entrepreneur and philanthropist. He is a true leader on campus, and Cass STEM proudly recognizes him for his efforts in and out of the classroom. Take several.
And parents, if you all want to get a picture as well, feel free to take a picture now together.
Come on this way. All right.
We'd also like to recognize the parents or family members from these amazing individuals. So if you're with one of these beautiful children, will you please stand so we can recognize you also?
Now, we also have another student recognition, but this one is a unique one. This is from Southwest Legacy High School, our cross-country champion, Anthony Zapata. So Anthony Zapata is a senior at Southwest Legacy High School who has had a fantastic career. During the 2023 cross-country season, Anthony has become the repeat District 28 5A champion and regional medalist with a third-place finish. Anthony also became Southwest Legacy first UIL athletics state medalist with an 8th-place finish at state, earning him a top 10 finish and a state medal. In 2022, Anthony also qualified for state and placed 14th overall in the Class 5A division. Anthony is a great athlete and does well in the classroom. He earned an honorable mention academic all-state recognition from the Texas High School Coaches Association for the 2023 cross-country season. With these accomplishments and his overall athletic success, Anthony has also managed to land a spot on the Texas High School Coaches Association Super Elite team for the 2023 season. There are only 7 athletes selected in Class 5A from across the state of Texas that receive this honor. As you can see, Anthony excels in the classroom and the competitive sport of cross country. He is our first UIL state medalist from Southwest Legacy High School, along with our first super athlete team member for 5A. He has accomplished this feat 2 years in a row.
Anthony, tell us a little bit about what you have planned for your future.
So I'm going to be attending UIW for the next fall, and I'm going to be running cross country and track competitively.
That is awesome. Proud of you. If Anthony's parents are in the audience, if they would please stand, or any of his family members, please stand. Anthony, we wish you the very best, and you have done an amazing job representing our district and legacy. We are so very proud of you. Keep up the good work. God bless you always. Thank you.
All right. So next, as we all know, it's January, and January is School Board Recognition Month. Governor Greg Abbott has declared January 2024 School Board Recognition Month a tribute to the hardworking school board members who play an essential role in our communities and schools. Although showing appreciation should be year-round, taking advantage of this designated month ensures that these critical people receive some of the thanks that they do deserve. At this time, I'm going to pass this over to Dr. Ball.
Thank you. I truly believe that January is one of the best board meetings because this is our time to honor school boards. But this board has truly demonstrated what commitment is, what integrity is, and most importantly, the love for our district, our students, our parents, our community, our staff. So as y'all know, when you first got here, there was lots of little tokens of appreciation from the principals, which I thank the principals and the campuses for doing this. But truly, Southwest ISD board members, it's an honor to serve you and in our community, and we sincerely want to say thank you. Thank you for your hard work. Many individuals think that these are paid positions. And they're not. Most individuals have no idea the work that goes into being a board member, the sacrifices, the time that you have to give from your family, all the committee meetings, all the other meetings that are involved. And you have chosen to do this. And what's unique and special about Southwest ISD is the board members don't choose to just do this for 4 years. This has been something that has truly been amazing and a legacy that y'all leave. One of the things that I've always been so proud of about Southwest is you look around, you see beautiful facilities here in the Southwest. Our students, we provide them a buffet of services, and it's because of your hard work that you do each and every day. So on behalf of myself, our administration, our campus principals, and our community, we sincerely want to thank you so much for all you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ball.
At this time, we do have a video that we would like to share with you. Just give us one moment.
Popcorn?
From the fourth graders at Sky Harbor Elementary. Thank you, board members! Thank you, school board, for all you do.
Thank you, school board. Thank you, Southwest School Board.
Thank you, school board members! Thank you, Southwest ISD Board. Ooh, yeah.
Thank you! Thank you, school board.
Thank you, school board.
Thank you, board members of the Creamwell Grove School of the Arts.
On behalf of the Creamwell Grove School of the Arts staff, we'd like to say
Thank you.
Thank you, board members. Thank you, board members.
Thank you, school board members.
Thank you, school board members.
Thank you, board members, for all that you do.
We are the Southwest ISD Kingdom Project. Thank you, Southwest School Board.
On behalf of McNair Athletics,
Thank you, Southwest School Board.
Thank you, board members!
Thank you, Southwest School Board, from the Golden Path Advance Team.
On behalf of Curriculum Instruction, we would like to thank our board for
Textbooks for Kids.
Turkeys,
Your dedication. Dragon 1, first official takeoff. Your support. We are Southwest.
Thank you, board members, for all that you do.
We love our board members. Thank you, we love our board members.
hello, this is the Varsity Girls Southwest basketball team, and we want to say
Thank you, school board, for all that you do.
on behalf of Southwest High School,
Thank you, school board, for all you do.
for our school and community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Southwest School Board. Thank you, school board.
Buttons over here. There we go, sorry. This is actually the short version, so we have a longer, more than 8-minute long version that we will be putting on social media and on our board report. So there are some that we had other departments in there as well and other campuses, but for the sake of time, we actually kind of have to shorten it a little bit. So we will definitely be posting out the longer version, so everybody's invited to watch that later on.
Thank you. Thank you. And I can truly say on behalf of this board, because I know this board, and we do it for people like the front row right here, our children. We do it for our staff, our administration, our community. And as you heard, we don't do it for our pay. But you know, yeah, some people say some of us are crazy, 23 years, 21 years, 20 whatever years. But yeah, we love our community, and we truly appreciate January. We really do. I'm gonna eat candy for 60 days. You know? But thank you again. Okay. Let us continue. Brandon, do we have someone signed up?
Yes, we do. We have a few citizens to be heard, so I'm gonna read, before we start, and now bring them up, the Southwest ISD Public Hearing Rules of Engagement. Let me go through these real quickly. When addressing the audience during the public forum, speakers' commentary must adhere to the following. Everyone must model courtesy and respect. Speakers shall not employ profane or threatening language, nor shall they engage in any personal attacks. The public has the right to make critical and harsh remarks. However, the expectation is that the message delivered by the speaker is done so in a constructive manner with a collaborative purpose. Speakers are expected to respect both the decorum of the public meeting and the authority of the board. The Board of Trustees requests that derogatory or inflammatory statements and personal attacks on individuals be avoided. Caution should be exercised in publicly attacking specific individuals. In accordance with Board Policy BED Local, the board shall not deliberate or respond to any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. Speakers who have signed up to speak on a specific agenda item must focus their comments on the posted agenda item. At this time, we have Commissioner Rebecca Clay Flores. If you want to come up and make general public comments. There's a mic over there, so people hear.
So I have to say, so I'm Rebecca Clay Flores, I'm your Bexar County Commissioner of Precinct 1. So I've been doing this for the past year. I have 10 ISDs that touch my precinct, so I've been going to talk to the trustee board meetings to let you guys know the things that I'm doing in each of the individual school districts. And so I've sat through a lot of these, and I have to say, this is the most fun. So congratulations to all of you. Like, yeah, you guys are like not really excited, but how exciting. My background's in education, so see you guys, I just like wanted to run up and give you a hug and all this advice. So congratulations to the school board. So I just want to talk about a couple of things that we've been doing at Commissioner's Court. So specifically in Southwest ISD, I was here for the ribbon cutting. But one of the county initiatives that I championed was $20 million countywide for mental health programs. And you guys have a beautiful mental health program. How many of you have already gone to the mental health program here? Okay, you need to go. You need to go check it out. Just go see it, get therapy, get counseling. So the whole point was to pay for more, to partner with ISDs to pay for more therapists and social workers. So we're really excited about that. And Southwest ISD received $1,314,423. You can clap if you want. And then we're also really excited. So I talk a lot about preventative health and mental health. So I have an annual 5K. And so this fall, our 5K, instead of asking people to pay to register, we ask people to bring non-perishable items, and we donate those items to our ISDs that have pantries, of which Southwest ISD has one. So we gave you guys some of our food so you can continue to support our students and families and our great kids who need to eat well to continue growing. So we're excited about that. Also, Cagnon Road, on Cagnon Road, we are opening a new animal care facility because we have too many stray dogs on the south side of Bexar County. So I'm excited about that. Doesn't seem like anyone else in the room is, but I am. So I want to tell you all about that. And also McDonough Park. How many of you guys have been to McDonough Park? Some of you guys came to the ribbon cutting. Some of your trustees came to the ribbon cutting. They are involved. They are in the community. So I'm championing for $3 more million for that because that's a really sad park. And I don't like sad stuff in the precinct. So we are putting funding into that to make it safer and make some sidewalks accessibility and doing a whole bunch of great things there. And the last thing that I'm really excited about is one of the things I talk a lot about is the infrastructure that's needed here in the southern sector of Bexar County. And part of that infrastructure is attracting big businesses. So JCB is an English company. It is the world's largest privately owned manufacturer of construction and agricultural equipment. They are coming here to Southwest ISD. Y'all should clap because y'all can get a whole bunch of tax dollars out of that. So we are supporting to pass tax incentives that attract them to build here, and they are building an ISD, so we're not going to get the property taxes at the county, but making sure that UHS and the school board, ISD, you're still getting your taxes. So that's an awful lot of money because for Precinct 1, it is projected to have a $30 billion, isn't that a lot of money? Bastante dinero. $30 billion economic impact over the next 10 years in Precinct 1. So I'm super excited about it, so I just wanted to stop by, let you know what we're doing for Southwest ISD. So I'm Rebecca Clay Flores, your Bexar County Commissioner, and we are
Southwest.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner.
That's-
Okay.
Yeah, the other person, she gave up her time to the commissioner. Right, you?
Yes.
Okay.
You know my time.
Okay. At this time, the exciting part of the meeting has happened, okay? You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. It's gonna be a long one. Yes, James, it's gonna be a long one. But at this time, I'm gonna take about a 3-minute break, and if you'd like to leave, you're welcome to leave at this time. Let us continue with our meeting. Next item is consent agenda. Board members, I do have a correction on the consent agenda. On item A2, the special meeting of December 11th, 2023. If you go to that page, 12, I mean, you don't have to, but the location is the Aquatic Center. Well, the location of that meeting was not at the Aquatic Center, it's at Central Office, so that simple change will be made. Board members, you've had the consent agenda. Any other changes if you've seen? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move.
I'll second.
The motion is second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Item C, board amendment. Oh, that was part of consent agenda, never mind. Item 6, items of information, construction update.
We don't have any updates right now. We have an item or two on the
Okay.
business agenda that we'll go over through the presentation then.
Thank you. B, monthly tax report. Board members, you've had that before you.
No, there's,
Anything you want to?
yeah, we're doing really good. December was a good month. So this is the months, December, January, February is when we collect most of our taxes, so
Okay.
we're real ahead right now.
Financial report, investment report, anything you want to add, Brendan?
Yes, sir. No, I don't have anything to add.
Okay. Board members, any questions? Gifts and requests. Anyone receive gifts and requests that we need to report? Okay, we got all right
Need a
candy,
form from y'all.
candy and cookies. Enrollment report. Numbers are looking good. Review purchases over 50,000. Any questions, board members? Okay, first read of TASB Board Policy Update 122. Who gets to do that?
I have that one for you. So, I listed all of, 16 of the local areas in which TASB is recommending, that we ensure that we are following through with the legal changes that have happened. I provided for you any additions, any revisions, or any change in wording. Everything from cybersecurity to, security and safety, all the way through benefits leave, making sure that we have wellness, crisis intervention, mental health, etc. And so this will be a first read, and then we will go to look at approving it at the next month's board.
Okay. Board members, please take that with you and read it at your own time, and then we'll get to second reading. Okay. Senate Bill 763.
Yes, Ms. Barcelona has a little presentation that she would like to give. This is coming from the last legislative session in regards to chaplains in school districts. So she has some information for you just to think about.
And just to make sure that you're aware, I did give you this PowerPoint so that you have a copy of it also. And so this is just an informational PowerPoint presentation to ensure that the board members are aware of what they need to do within the next month. So why was this Senate bill, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back here. So it's Senate Bill 763, and why did TEA in Texas look at adding this bill? So this bill specifically was to address mental health. And so you've heard about a lot of mental health concerns. But it basically was to assist districts who are struggling to find counselors and mental health services in their district. The state cites that the growing number of people who need mental health or have mental health concerns was the reason to add possibly putting chaplains into schools. This allows the district to replace or add positions for, of chaplains for licensed counselors, psychologists, or family specialist positions with chaplains. The decision that the board will have to make, and this will have to be by vote, will be to either permit chaplains through board action to provide support to and services to students either as A, a volunteer, B, as an employee, or C, not permit chaplains to provide services as a part of the district. If chaplains are permitted by board action, then they may not attempt to convert or advocate any specific religious beliefs. They are not, I just want to remind you that they are not teacher certified, so chaplains don't have a certification, and they must be paid out of the school safety allotment funds, which is what we're using for security and safety measures at this time. If the board votes yes, then the district will need to work on permission slips for parents to organize this initiative, and we will have to ensure that chaplains have training on safety, behavioral supports, mental health, suicide prevention, self-harm prevention, threat assessment, and support campuses with their instructional schedules. The considerations that we need to consider before we make this decision is the term chaplain was not defined by the bill, and therefore it's not defined by the state. So somebody who calls himself a chaplain, they can go through and be a chaplain. Chaplains are not required to have mental health, suicide, self-harm, or behavioral training or expertise. Various religious groups do not affiliate with the term chaplain. Southwest ISD currently only has one counseling opening right now, and that was open because we had a campus, an elementary campus, 800, so we opened up addition counselor position for them. We also, in addition, this past year, opened up the Southwest Care Center for mental health assistance, in which we opened that services for all students and their families. And we do have counselors at every campus. We have social workers at every campus. In addition, we have restorative practice personnel at all secondary campuses. The next steps will be, in considering this decision, the board will have to answer the question, will they allow chaplains to work here as volunteers, work here as employees and receive payment, or not permit chaplains to provide services as a part of the district? And we will make that decision next month.
Is there a timeline?
It has to be within 6 months, so next month will be the last month. We have to make that decision in February.
Thank you. Board members, any questions? Okay. Update on attendance boundary changes for school year 2024-2025.
Yes, we had a meeting with the community, we invited community members, all of our campus principals. We gathered ideas and suggestions, we shared this proposal, and at this time, Brandon is going to share some of the outcomes.
Thank you, Dr. Ball. So just kind of, I'm throwing this up here for you because this last spring was we did a demography study with Brent Alexander, and he put us on 3 tracks. So we have 3 tracks up here. The green is kind of like a slow growth track. The middle blue is what he expected, a moderate, and then you see the red. Currently this year, we're on track to be on the red track. And so the growth is coming. You can drive around. I know some of you have been on a tour. And we have specific classrooms, campuses that are being impacted at the classroom level. And so we had some meetings. We brought Brent back not only to do the study, but I brought him back to actually study the certain boundaries and give recommendations and give us numbers of where kids are living. And so what we are taking into consideration tonight is managing enrollment. That's what we're doing right now. Some places we're putting Band-Aids on it, some places we're capping classrooms, we're moving portables in, we're trying to build with the bond that we just passed, some new facilities to deal with this. And when we're making decisions about moving students from their current school, we're looking at these factors, looking at the feeder pattern that they're a part of, getting community unity. We don't wanna split neighborhoods if we don't have to. Look at the geographic proximity of where they're going to have to go to school. Is it gonna be a lot further than it is now? And then also frequency of change. And I will sit here and tell you that over the next 3 years, we're probably gonna have this meeting every year and talk about changing, because once we get the new elementary, we're gonna have to look in the same area that's gonna really be impacted by what we're doing tonight. And then we have to look at cost effectiveness, you know, the cost of, you know, staff that we have to add, the cost of transportation and other, areas of concern as far as cost effectiveness. So the process that we did, I talked about it, we did a study. We brought the demographer back to help us look at certain zones. We had 2 growth and planning committee meetings, where in the last growth and planning committee, we did an activity, to get people's input, and they were able to walk around, and we did a gallery walk. And I was giving them, we did, you know, a sticker that says they're okay with the recommendation, or a red or a yellow that says that they weren't. Now, we never, in any growth and planning, ever got unanimous, hey, we support you 100%. There was concerns, valid concerns, and we kind of addressed those. But the majority of the people were okay with the changes. We met with the facilities subcommittee a couple weeks back, last week, I think, can't remember now, it's been so many meetings. And we brought it to them for their recommendations. So I'm here tonight to present the recommendations. We're gonna start off with the middle school zones currently. And these are just numbers that, of any given time, this is a couple weeks back. Resnick sitting around 870, it's our largest middle school. It's also in the area that has the most potential for growth. McCullough Middle School is very landlocked, 639 students are going there. If you recall, we had opened Resnick when we built it. We moved a lot of kids that were in the McCullough zone over to Resnick, because at the time, we only had Spicewood and Bob Hope, were very small communities, to go to Resnick. So we took a lot of kids that were living in the valleys and along 410, and we were transporting them to Resnick. And tonight, we're gonna look at that, making that change back and moving those kids back. So Scobie, sitting at 795, and McNair at 761. Let's start off with Resnick. So the idea is to move the Valley High students that are directly behind the Miller's Pond, behind Bill Miller's. There's 50 students that used to go, or those neighborhoods used to go to McCullough, that we sent over to Resnick when we opened Resnick. We'd like to move them back. There's 14 kids currently sitting at Freedom Hills. Ridgestone, Lackland Heights is a little northern, up 410, still on the, I would say on the inner city side of 410, and then Heather's Cove. On the outside of 410, where you have Solano Ridge, Sun Valley, and that's Scobie, but just south of that, you got Cormona Hills and Valley Ridge, where you have another 90 students. And this map here shows you kind of those areas. So this is your Valley High, this is your area that's north, or the northern part of Valley High, up here at the Heather's Cove, and the Lackland Heights. And then over here you have the Cormona Hills, and then you have, I forgot the name of the Valley Ridge. And we're proposing tonight to take these neighborhoods and move these neighborhoods back to McCullough. The impact of that is we would free up capacity at Resnick. So that would drop them next year down to 660, and that's a pretty drastic drop, but that's preparing them, because if you look at the projection over the next years, of even just doing that, we would still see tremendous growth over the next 5 to 7 years at Resnick. And so we're building that capacity with all the things that are going on in that area. At the same time, McCullough has no potential for growth unless we do it with boundary changes, because there's no construction going on in their area. So this would help McCullough fill some voids that they're facing in some of their programs, like their athletic programs, some of their fine arts. They have low attendance in those programs because they're sitting out there with 630 kids. So this helps getting McCullough back to a larger middle school. It has lots of capacity, and this allows Resnick potential for growth. So that's the impact there. On our other 2 middle schools, there's not a lot of changes except for one that we looked at, mostly because of transportation. We got 26 kids in Lucky Ranch. We also have a lot of future growth. There's another subdivision, part of Lucky Ranch, that's going to be built out. We would like to move those kids that are sitting here in Lucky Ranch currently. They go to McNair, so they have to get on the bus and drive, and it's a really long route. This also frees up space for McNair, because McNair is also going to grow. They have a lot of subdivisions down the 1604 corridor, and we have some that are coming down Pierceville Road and even further out, that McNair is going to see potential growth. So this is just a start to really start moving kids over to Scobie. Scobie, what used to be our largest middle school, they're faced with some, we have some neighbors to the, I guess, inside the charter schools that they're losing some enrollment. There's not a lot of housing development happening in there anymore, so this helps Scobie gain some more students over time and balance out and help McNair deal with their growth. Questions on the middle school? So really what it looks like is, McNair loses about 26 students. Next year, go to 735. I have not calculated the growth into this number yet, so they still will have more than 735, but this is just numbers and numbers right now. Scobie would grow another 26 students, but they would also have potential to grow with Lucky Ranch as it expands. Elementary zone, right now you can see we have some schools that are very large and some schools that are not. Southwest Elementary is sitting currently at 805 students. Our functional capacity of elementary is about 760 students. When we start getting over that number, it gets really crowded and we're having to get real creative in spaces in that building. Spicewood sitting at 736 with the most potential of any elementary with all the development in the area. Medio Creek is right there on the cusp. We have a couple of neighborhoods that are impacted them. And then obviously Sky Harbor, there's a lot of room for capacity there because they're actually built out as well. Unless we move boundaries, that number is going to most likely decline. Creewell and Big Country also have room to help deal with some of this growth. So the first zone is looking at Spicewood. Spicewood right now is sitting around over 700, but with the potential of a lot of growth. So the idea is to take the students that live off, I'm just going to go to the chart here, the map. They live here in Von Army. This is on the, I would say, the south side of 35. There's 120 students here, and currently there's about 6 students that live in this area here. This is the new developments that we already moved, Mesa Vista, Bristol, and then the Valley Sol. They're already going to Sky Harbor as of this year. There's 6 other students that live along that road that we didn't move because they were already going to Spicewood. We gave them a chance to stay there until next year. So we like to move everything from Somerset Road back all the way to Von Army to Sky Harbor. And this would basically free up about 126 students from Spicewood, get them down to 610. As you can see, their growth is still there, lots of potential. And this is just a kind of first year to help Spicewood until we get the new elementary. We may have to look at it again next year with Spicewood to see how we get, if it continues to explode, how do we deal with that growth? And then if you look at Sky Harbor, their trajectory is actually in a decline. And so this will help Sky Harbor, very good school, adding students to it. And that's adding another, more students because of these neighborhoods that we're moving over, the new ones. So Sky Harbor still has a lot of potential to even grow bigger with Valley Sol, Mesa Vista, and Bristol when students start to enroll. When we look at the Southwest Elementary Zone, we looked at 2 areas, 2 campuses, which I showed before that had capacity for them to take on more students. We would like to move the Lucky Ranch subdivision students. 61 are elementary students currently enrolled at Southwest Elementary with a future of 90 more students that would grow because of the expansion. We would like to move this neighborhood to Big Country. Then we would like to take the new Applewood Ranch neighborhood and apartments and move those to Creewell. And so the impact there, that would add 54 students, or actually take away 805 students, I don't know how many it was, but 61 students would leave Southwest Elementary, move over to Big Country, and that would put Big Country at 650. And then we would add 33 and 54, 33 from the apartment complex in Applewood and 54 from the neighborhood. Would get Creewell to 555 students, and that would decrease and get Southwest Elementary down to 657 so they can still deal with the growth that's happening in the Cinco Lakes area and also to deal with the subdivision that's going up right here down the street on Pearsall. And you can see that Southwest Elementary, this will help them deal with their potential growth over time as well. And lastly, we have another kind of transportation issue we wanted to tackle, is we have 13 students that are in the northern part of Von Army off Quintana Road. These 13 students currently go to Medio Creek. And so we would like to move them back since we're making capacity at Southwest Elementary because it's such a long bus ride. So these kids get on a bus and they have to go to the valleys and then they get dropped off last. The same thing happens in the morning. We would like to take these 13 students who used to go to Southwest Elementary and move them back. We don't think that's going to impact their enrollment too bad. And And so that would be more of a transportation and more of just helping out families being closer to the, closer school. And so that shows you the impact there. Our next steps is tonight to get this approved. These will go in effect starting for the 24-25 school year. Any student wishing to stay at their current campus would go through the transfer application process. We have one, and so we don't look to grandfather anyone, but we will also go through a process where if the student decides they want to stay at their current campus, they will have the possibility. With that being said, we will not transport any students that aren't part of their zone. So if you get moved to Sky Harbor and that's your new school, we will only provide transportation to Sky Harbor. And then we will work on a plan to roll this out. We already are working on marketing, coming up with letters, and really get out there and share this with the individuals that are going to be impacted and the families. Questions?
Yeah.
All right.
We're good, Brenda.
Thank you, sir.
Middle school baseball and softball update. Who's doing this? Coach?
Coach Reiner's doing this, and him and his leadership team have been working really hard to provide more opportunities for our students at our middle school level.
So really appreciate the time. We're excited about adding baseball and softball. Our kids are really excited about it since we brought it, and look forward to kind of sharing with you what's going on here.
There's a lot of stuff.
I mean, share with you what we're doing.
Thank you, sir.
I wasn't messing with you,
Sorry about
Roger, I
that.
promise.
It's a lot. There you go, sir.
Click the link. Click the link.
There you go.
Is it ready to share?
Yes, sir. It's ready to go.
Okay. So this is what our planning process started, really last spring. We started asking other districts who have implemented baseball and softball at the middle school level, kind of what they've learned, what they've done, because it's a little bit new too to the area and things like that. So we started talking to them, and then over the fall we started talking to our softball and baseball coaches, and then in December we really got everybody together once we met with our team to see things, and we brought in our middle school coordinators, our baseball and softball coaches along with our team, and kind of gave them some different ways of doing it to see what would work best and really get their input in those things. And so that was our planning process, and this is kind of what we came up with. First of all, the structure that we're looking at is we're only going to play Southwest ISD teams to start with, so we can kind of learn it, figure out what we need to change and go from there. So we'll play a 4-team double round robin tournament, or not tournament, schedule. And so what that means is we're going to play everybody twice. Okay. Second thing is our rosters will be between 15 and 20 kids, depending on how many kids show up and want to play and things like that. And in talking to other districts, we're going to combine the 7th and 8th graders together. And the reason for that is because we've all watched Pony and we've all watched that. There are some very different skill levels when it comes to baseball and softball at different ages. So we're going to put those skill groups together in that 15 to 20. And then if we have a lot, like at Scobie, we might have enough for 2 teams, or at McNair, different things like that. So as we have more that can play, we're not going to tell them no. We're going to figure it out and then go from there as we can. So this ends up being a 9-week season is what we're looking at. And so when we're going to play, so we're looking at playing right after football and baseball season. I mean football and volleyball season, I'm sorry. And the reason for that is a couple of reasons. Number one, facilities. This is the time since we've turfed it, and thank you very much for our turf, we're really enjoying it. But since we have that and we're not overseeding anymore, this is the time where our facilities are available. And our high school coaches are available too, because most of them either coach volleyball or football. And so this is that in-between time where we can get kids in there. The second biggest thing is these kids who are pretty good are usually playing already year-round. This is that downtime when we're not competing with their club teams and everything else throughout the year, so we can get them to do that. Thirdly, those kids who don't play a lot, we get them in there, and then we can get them used to it, and then that's when Pony starts. We can get them into Pony, and then we can build them up to maybe we get them into club, and now we're playing year-round and everything. And so this is an opportunity to do all of those things and move forward from there. And so this is what our weeks would look like. We are still in a position to where we believe that we don't want kids to have to choose one sport or another. We want to do everything we can as adults to give them a plan that they can do as much as they want to as they can. And so adding baseball and softball, though, we're out of space to be able to do some of those things. So our team really did a great job of getting together and trying to come up with a way that kids can play basketball or soccer and baseball or softball. And what we do here is, if you look at the schedule, they would practice basketball or soccer on Mondays and Tuesdays. We can move our games to play on Wednesdays. And those who don't play baseball or softball will have a time that they're going to do a skills development practice with their coaches and things like that. Most of them take Friday off anyway, so we went with that. On Wednesdays, if they're not playing basketball or soccer, they're doing a fundamental skill day on their campus with their coaches. And then on Thursday and Friday, they practice, probably at the high school, and then we play our games on Saturday mornings for baseball and softball. And that's kind of the practice week right there. And so staffing needs, this is where we get into the fun part, right? So we will need 2 middle school coaches for baseball. It's a safety thing and everything else, as we all know. And then 2 middle school coaches for softball. We're also thinking that we're going to have a high school coach there when they're coming to the high school. So your middle school coaches aren't always the experts in the sport. And baseball and softball are very much a skill-driven sport. So we want our high school coaches to be available and compensate them to be able to be there to really help our middle school coaches develop those practices, share those facilities, and develop those kids, as well as kind of run the baseball and softball end of it on Saturdays. So that's what we're asking for staffing. Equipment needs, we're starting off, and we've all been here long enough that we're starting with, we don't think these kids have anything. And so our equipment, when we went out to look to see how much it is, we're covering possible a set of gloves, bats, balls, uniforms. We'll be able to have basic practices at their campuses. So we're looking at batting cages, a Big Bubba, instead of putting fixed backstops, is having a Big Bubba so they can have, and that's what a Big Bubba looks like. So when they're doing batting practice, we don't lose 1,000 balls like we do in the field at the high school. We're using that. We can put it on the grass where they're at, and it can be moved around to be able to be more flexible. Your nets, your batting cages, your catcher's equipment, things like that. So for all 4 middle schools for both sports, we're looking at a starting cost for equipment at $250,000. So the total startup with stipends going into it and equipment, you're looking at $296,000. That doesn't include your year-to-year costs, so as we go, then we would need $63,500 a yearly increase in the athletic budget to cover your transportation, the stipends, the gate workers, the officials who continually get more and more expensive, and to keep going with the equipment and keep that up to date and everything. And so that's that. Questions?
Questions? Looks good, Coach.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Long time coming. Okay, item 7, Administration and Human Resources. Consider approval of 2024-2025 campus staffing model. Who's presenting?
So Mr. Hernandez is going to present that, and this is our time when we start planning, as you can see, for next year, budget, staffing. So we are going to have these meetings with the principals in the near future, but wanted to share this information first with the board in regards to want to have a very consistent and fair way of staffing our campuses. So Mr. Hernandez will share this information with you.
Good evening, Board, Mr. President, Dr. Ball. Tonight I'm here to present a very brief look at the 2024-2025 campus staffing model. Now, this model was a joint effort by the Finance Department and HR to establish a model that's equitable in staffing our campuses. We looked at several factors when developing this model. We started off with the TASB staffing model. On top of that, we started looking at the projected enrollments as Mr. Chris' presentation provided as well. And we also took into consideration future feeder patterns and boundary changes as well. Having said that, let's go into the elementary schools. For elementary, well, let me talk a little about the graph here. This chart's going to show you the green column is going to indicate where our projected enrollment's going to land for our campuses. If not all, but most of our campuses will be in the 500 to 800 student range. So that's why you will see a green highlight on those. And basically, this is what it would look like to staff a campus of that size. I'll bring your attention to the middle. Because everybody wants to see what the teacher ratio is going to look like. And that's going to look like this. The classes will be staffed at 1 teacher for every 20 students, and our bilingual classes will be staffed at 17 to 1. Now, additional positions provided by categorical funding are as follows as well. And you see right there the green column indicates where our campus enrollments would be. Any questions on elementary? Okay. Moving forward to our middle schools, you're going to see a very similar table. Here also, that green table also indicates where our middle school enrollments will be next year. And in the middle there, you'll also see the teacher ratio. It's also a 22 to 1 right here. And then the categorical funding will provide these positions as well. Questions on middle school? Okay. And we move over to the high school. This chart was a little bigger, so we broke it up a little bit. This is the basic high school model. And for this one, you will see a ratio of 25 to 1 for teachers right there. And you'll see an increase in the assistant principals and lead counselor positions as you move through the chart over to the right, because you're going to need the added support to run a campus and provide the services needed as well. The second part of that is going to be the custodians. You'll see that that number also increases based on the usage of the buildings, on the number of kiddos that we have there. And then you'll see that we will staff high schools at 25 to 1. These are the added positions that will be provided by the categorical funding as well. And if there are no questions for high school, that is the end of our presentation.
Board, any questions? No?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Haynes.
But we're recommending the board approve the staffing model.
I did notice just real
I
quick
didn't
on
see
the
that.
set that the special education will be, what is it?
We work with Aubrey directly on numbers,
Okay.
and she makes recommendations for staffing. And so that varies based on the demographic of the campus.
And does that come to us or?
Well, because she has a separate ratio, we could bring it so you could see it or approve it.
But it's gonna almost be different for every campus based
Yeah,
on.
I mean, not
Yeah.
that we have to approve it, but I would like to see
Okay.
what.
Absolutely.
you recommend.
Yeah, we also take into account student needs based on their IEPs as well.
Right.
Okay. This time I'll entertain a motion for the proposed school staffing model.
I move.
A second.
We have a motion, a second, that we approve the proposed school staffing model for 24-25 school year. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Thank you. Business and finance, fun time.
Now we have our district financial audit, and we do have a presentation, and I do believe all the board has this big group book.
Come on up here.
This is forward, so we do have.
Yeah, I want to introduce Derek Walker. You're gonna have to use that mic over there. From Coleman and Horton. District's required to have a third-party auditor come in and audit our books, and so Derek is gonna go through what he was able to do for us and look at the audit.
Well, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I came prepared for cold, and now it's kind of stuffy and hot in here. So, thank you for having me tonight. Mr. President, I'm going to keep it short and sweet if that's okay
Thank
with
you.
you. I
Thank
hear
you.
y'all have dinner after in closed session, so I'm sure y'all kind of will get to that. So real quickly, I'm I'm gonna go over our opinion letters and also some fund balance numbers and then also budget numbers. And if y'all are okay with that, we'll call it a night. We try to get this audit report out to y'all early. So if y'all do have any questions, stop me, very informal, okay? Perfect, so if you'll turn over to page 4 and 6. We have 3 different opinion letters in here. One's on your basic financial statements, and the other 2 are, well, the second one is that the district receives federal funds. It's supposed to have an audit on its internal controls, compliance, and other matters. The third is if a district receives over $750,000 in federal funds, it's supposed to have an audit on its major federal programs. All 3 of our audited opinions were clean, were unmodified, and this is the highest level of assurance an auditor can give on a set of financial statements. So congratulations to the district in that regard.
Thank you.
Jumping over to look at some fund balance numbers. I promise I'm going to keep it short. So I had some threats in the back about keeping it short. Page 20 and 21. So I'm an accountant, I like numbers. I'd rather go over numbers than just public speak. But this in essence is the district's profit and loss or income statement for the year. What it does, it tells you what your total revenues were. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong page here. Page 22 and 24. So this gives you what the district's total revenues were during the year, total expenses, and also the change, an increase or decrease in fund balance, and then what the residual ending fund balance was. We have 5 different columns here. One's your general fund. This is your main operating account. This is always presented separately in your financial statements. Second, we have your debt service fund. This is the fund that y'all use to service your debt, collect property taxes, and pay your notes, or pay your bonds, I'm sorry. The third is your capital project fund. So when you get a big bond issue, whatever it may be, this is where you spend that money out of. And then the 4th column, which is on page 24, is your other funds. Since they're smaller funds, we lump them all together here. What goes in this fund is your Title I, your child nutrition program, your campus activity funds. There is detail in the back if you want to see how individual funds are doing or how they're performing. And then the last column is your total. So I just want to go over a couple of these numbers. On your first column, your general fund, 3 lines from the bottom. This is a change in fund balance. The change in fund balance in just your general fund decreased $2.7 million during the year, leaving your general fund with an ending fund balance of $83 million. I'd also like to point out that y'all spent about $5.3 million in capital expenditures. These are just one-time expenses, and it could vary from year to year. So just depending on what your initiative is. Your debt service fund had an increase, that second column, 3 lines from the bottom, of $1.6 million, leaving that with an ending fund balance of $5.9 million. Your capital project fund, this is a kind of interesting one to explain because when you issue debt, bonds, those are considered revenue. And so you'll have a big increase in fund balance when you issue those bonds. And then in subsequent years, when you pay, when you're spending that money on your capital projects, your fund balance is going to decrease quickly or rapidly as well. So capital projects, looking at that change in fund balance, increased to $198 million. Leaving it with an ending fund balance of $206 million. All your other funds, which is your child nutrition, your Title I, it has some of your ESSER money. That first column on page 24, that increased $947,000, leaving those with a $5.1 or $5.2 million fund balance. So district-wide, that far right column, fund balance increased to $198 million, leaving the district with a $300 million fund balance. But once again, that big increase is because y'all issued that debt, and in subsequent years, how much was that bond issue? Almost $200 million. Mm-hmm. It's going to go down rapidly after you spend that. So, last schedule I want to go over is on page 60. This is your budgetary comparison schedule for your general fund. Let me just briefly go over this real quick. So, everyone on page 60?
Yes.
Okay, so that first column's your original budget. That's what's passed before the start of the year. And then you'll have your budget amendments each month or however often y'all do it. And that second column represents those final budgeted amounts. Third column is your actual dollar amounts. That's what was actually received, actually paid out. And then your fourth column is your variance between budget and your final budget and your actual. So looking at total revenues, which is 4 lines from the top, that far right column, total revenues came in 4.2 million more than what was anticipated. The district was under budget in all of its functions except function 61, which is your community services. And that was a result of an year-end payable adjustment that we had to make in order to capture an expense. But other than that, all your other functions were within budget. Your total expenditures, 3 lines from the bottom, came in 10.4 million less than what was expected. But other than that, it was a clean audit. We enjoy working with your staff. You know, it's a 4-month process from start to finish to us sending you those little surveys we send y'all. And we do appreciate y'all sending those back. Otherwise, we say Mona on you. But anyway, other than that, it was, like I said, you have any questions?
Any questions? No? Thank you so much.
We recommended that the board approve the district audit as presented.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. The board approved 22-23 district financial audit as presented. Hearing no questions, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Consider approval of the order of election for Southwest Independent School District.
Yes, Brandon, some information on this?
Yes, recommending to the board to approve the order to host a May 4th, 2024 election, Board of Trustees election.
I second.
A motion and a second that we approve ordering the 2024 school board election to be held in accordance with state laws and local policies. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Consider approval of joint election agreement.
Yes, sir, we're required to have a joint election per code. And so tonight, the recommendation is that the trustee election in May be held with the city of Lido in a joint election.
We have a motion and a second that we approve the joint election agreement with the city of Lido. Questions, anyone? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Consider approval of 24-25 Southwest Independent District attendance boundary changes.
Brandon, presented his presentation, and we're just asking now the board to formally
Approve it.
approve this.
Second.
We have a motion, and a second, that the board approve the proposed attendance boundaries of the new residential developments for 24-25 school year as presented today. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Consider approval of the purchase of 6 new classroom portables.
Thomas here to present on that.
Thank you, Thomas.
So, as you know, we're about to really get kicked off on a lot of renovation projects through the 2023 bond. So with that, there are some phasing issues that we're facing with those elementary renovations. And so because the portables that we actually have still in-house, we have found that they've been sitting for so long that when we try and move them, they're all falling apart and causing us problems. The district is recommending that we buy 6 new portables to use 2 at each elementary campus for their renovations, and then move them around as we move through all of the bond projects for the 2023 bond. So to start out, I believe the first 2 we already have bought 6 previously. 4 of them are at Spicewood to help with the growth there. 2 of them we are moving to Bob Hope. We would put 2 at Southwest Elementary, 2 at Elm Creek, and 2 at Crewell to help with being able to take a section of the school out of commission, renovate that piece, and put it in. So the district staff, we accepted bids from 3 different companies. The low bid came back from Ramtech, who was the company we purchased from last time. So for the 6 portables, along with the ramps that go with them, we recommend that we approve Ramtech for a contract amount of $805,000 for the 6 new portables and ramps and accessories that go with it.
I
Is that-
move, oh, sorry.
Sorry. Does that include putting them in place where we want
Yes.
them, or?
That is delivery the first time. Now, every time we move them after that, that price keeps going up too for,
What that doesn't include is like the electrical and the
Yes.
water that we'll have to come, we'll probably come back to you after that, once we get pricing on that, to kind of get it all set up.
at each location, we'll need a separate meter and then a hookup to the sewer line like we did at Spicewood, so.
Thank you, Thomas. Okay.
Sorry. I move.
A second.
The motion is second. We approve the contract for new portables to Ramtech Building Systems for the amount of $805,000. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, consider approval of construction documents and procurement method for the Child Nutrition Building Freezer Addition and renovation.
Yes, sir. Carlos Constantino is here with LPA. He is going to provide the walkthrough of the construction documents, and then after that, we will make a recommendation to approve those so we can go out to bid for that.
Okay.
Turn it over to Carlos.
Thank you, Thomas. Good evening.
Good evening, Carlos.
Board President, Board members, Dr. Ball, thank you for y'all's time. I do want to preface, this isn't the entire construction documents. I'm just showing the architectural, which will show you the design intent of the project. We have probably 70, 80 sheets of drawings. So again, I wanted to show that y'all have all of the, didn't know if y'all have this in front of y'all, but I can put it, please.
I apologize.
No worries.
There you go, sir.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. So the first sheet, again, to get your bearing, to the left is north, and then obviously the right is south. So this new addition, which is roughly about 1,600 square feet, it's about 40 by 40. It's about the same size as the existing freezer that's there now. It will be located on the southwest corner of that building. It's basically going to be sitting right on an existing concrete dock area where they have. So again, the addition itself will be on the southwest side of this building area. The demolition notes, the scope of the work I'll show you in relation, I even have a color-coded area. In relation, there's probably 3 areas of construction. This is just a sheet that shows demolition, which is going to mainly be all of the scope of work within the admin areas, including some additional scope that the district is moving forward with in relation to growth that Winston and his staff talked about, which the district is proceeding with. Again, this helps with just the color coding of the scope of work itself. The red area or pink area is the new addition, again, roughly about at 40 by 40. This will be connected to the existing the cooler area. So now you're going to have a cooler with a saddlebag of the freezers on both sides. So this will be an internal access off of the cooler area into that freezer. You never want to have a door that extends out into the open area. The blue area is the renovated areas. That is the existing admin area itself. This will consist of we're removing all of the wallpaper, putting brand new paint on the walls, brand new rubber base, changing out all the lights from fluorescent to now LEDs, and then all of the tile, it's the tile itself, not the grid. Again, new rubber base, a new solid surface countertop on the main entry reception area, and then all of the break room, brand new millwork. It's old millwork, brand new solid surface, as well as a residential oven with exhaust, proper exhaust for that. And then the area that I spoke about with the additional scope is the green area. So this is basically a renovated, it's an existing storage room that the district wanted to look at providing new offices. And I'll have a larger scale of that plan to show you. But basically, we're coming in and adding 2 new offices that are enclosed, and then space, outside space for an area for some furniture, for mobile furniture for additional offices itself. And then this shows you kind of a larger area itself of that new addition. Again, it's utilizing an existing storage room, 2 new offices, and then again, an open area for your furniture. We are utilizing, since unfortunately none of these areas of the stores have windows, which is kind of miserable, we're using an existing overhead door that's to the left, which is there now, that points towards the north. We're going to move that overhead door, and we're going to put a nice window in there to be able to get some natural light towards the north, so you won't have that straight east and west sun. So within that space, again, you have several offices. You'll have areas for growth in relation per the staff's direction. So, and then within the dry storage and the existing freezer and cooler, new light fixtures as well. They've been hit and damaged, and then new racks within the freezer and cooler as well for that scope of work. Just the roof plan, the intent, and you'll see the exterior elevations. The intent is we're going to match what's there. We always want to kind of follow the same language of the building. So you'll have the metal building, you'll have the brick columns with, it's an insulated panel with all of the same metal building style that's there now. I came to you, I think, on the previous presentation where I didn't want to attach to the existing roof. So we have a lower roof that's there now, where now we're only touching the side of that existing building. And so we didn't want to rip the top of that roof, and it becomes an issue with weather. So we're going to basically just attach a smaller roof that's between that. RCP, again, new lay-in ceiling, tile, and new light fixtures within the admin and the new office area, and then new lighting within the dry storage and the freezer and cooler. Exterior elevations, the top is that new addition, again, looking towards the south. I believe that's the south. And then the additional review, actually, yes, and then the second one from top down is towards the north. That's that little overhead door you can see on the left. And then the one on the third from the bottom is towards looking from the south towards the north. And then the one off of the bottom is off of Dragon Lane. So again, kind of gives you an idea of the extent of what that's going to look like. And we're going to do our best to try and emulate the same style so it looks like it was there before. And then just some building sections, wall sections in relation to the metal building itself. And then just a blow up. This is, if you can see, it's just, again, we're renovating an entire break room area, putting in brand new millwork, brand new sinks, and just kind of giving it a little extra life and kind of giving some more love on that end. And then within that area, I'm not sure, within that admin area, we're doing a connection from the new renovated office area into the dry storage as well as into the break room. So now they're able to connect from one of the admin area to the other as well. And you actually have an exterior door towards Dragon Lane where you're able to enter from that area. And then another door towards the north. There's a big tree that's right there on that end. So we have the egress required for those areas. And then just some plan details. Schedule-wise, we're bidding and we'll be back to the board for approval. I don't know if Thomas want to mention, this is a CSP, a competitive seal proposal. So once it bids, we'll do the required evaluations as far as what's called the best value, and then come back to the board with a price we're hoping is within that budget. So that is all that I had. I want to make it quick. Sorry if I was talking a little too fast. But
Questions, anyone?
Anybody have any questions?
No. So we recommend to approve the special master.
I move.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. The board approve the construction documents for this project as presented by LPA for the Child Nutrition Building Freezer Addition and Renovation. Hearing no questions, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Consider approval of the design development drawings for the Bob Hope Elementary Additions and Renovation Project.
Yes, sir. So this is the design development stage for the Bob Hope Elementary Renovation. James Moore is here with Colonel Robertson to go through those drawings, and then once he does his presentation, we'll also be looking for approval from the board on the recommendation to approve those design development drawings.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Dr. Ball, President, board members. Thank you for having me today. So as Thomas was saying, for the Bob Hope Elementary School additions and renovations, just want to give you a quick recap of where we started, how we got here, and where we're at now. So we met with the district, with all the stakeholders. We went through a design inspiration meetings, and then developed some concepts, and then came to schematic design. And then from those schematic designs, then we refined them, and now we're in the design development, and we're almost in the point where we're getting down to the nitty-gritties. So kind of guiding principles that we found through those stakeholder meetings, community was really a big issue with this facility, with Bob Hope, that they needed an identity that was a little bit separate, but within the Southwest framework. And so looking at the existing building from the aerial, it's kind of the only place that we have the ability to, the charge is to add 200 student capacity to the facility. We're currently at about 650, and so that would take us right about 8, a little over 8 when we get finished. So the only place that really has any availability of a space to add classrooms would be to the south, because the landlocked of the drainage easement to the west, and then the property line that's really close to the cafeteria and the gymnasium on the east. The front door is working pretty good. Security is okay. However, there's some security items that will be part of this project as enhancements for that security. So what we're trying to do here is put the new addition for the classrooms on the south end. It'll also help connect the gymnasium to the rest of the facility so that the students will have a protected path going from the gym to the classrooms and to the cafeteria, instead of right now they're going through an overhead canopy or under an overhead canopy that's pretty high because of a fire lane access point on the south end of it. In between the existing facility and the gymnasium, it's about 15 feet tall, so it doesn't provide much cover for the students as they walk back and forth. And so the other part is doing security gates and fences up next to the cafeteria and to prevent other people from coming into the campus from that direction, as well as separate the drive around or the turnaround on the west side of the building from the playground areas. We're, as Thomas was saying earlier about the proposed portable buildings, we're going to add 2, or proposing to add 2, to be able to facilitate the movement of students during the renovation of the existing facility, to make that transformation a little easier. So the existing campus is kind of laid out with some outward-facing classrooms that face the main classroom wings or the main corridors, but there's no internal connection between the teachers to facilitate any collaboration. So we saw that the corridors, or the area that's in between, that's full of storage right now, that if we remove that, it was added about 6 years ago. If we remove that, then we could create groups of classrooms together that would facilitate more grade level coordination and interaction. The other part was that the northwest corner of the building is all of the pre-K special ed classrooms. And if we relocate them, then we can put the library, which is currently in the back of the facility or in the south end of the facility, up in that area, which then would allow the district to have something else that was more of a public related event. So in community meetings and that kind of stuff, that the library could be secure in its own spot up next to the front door without having people to go through the rest of the facility to get there. So what we're trying to do is add where the existing library is now, transplant those classrooms down to kind of vice versa, take the classrooms out of the area up in the northwest, push them into the library, and push the library up in that northwest corner. The other part of it would be adding an additional 5 classrooms along the back edge of that library facility that connects the gym. Is that That's pretty much it. All right, so, the internal workings of each one of those areas, I'm gonna break them down for you just a little bit. So the area of the library, I said community was a really big key as we started going through the design sequence with the community and with the stakeholders at the school. And so we tried to make the one area that they don't get graded, the students don't get graded, a little bit more fun, a little bit more interactive, something that they can own and also have fun at the same time. And so that community theme kind of came back to us. If we master plan the library almost as a community, a micro community, with a park in the middle, the residential on the side, a little bit of commercial, and then the institutional or the commercial up in the upper right, kind of helped lay out the library in effect. So if you take the neighborhood, and that would be all the stack areas, and if you go back to that upper left picture with that little house with the kids sitting in it, those would be intermixed within the stack areas, so that way it creates those little fun zones. And then also, there was a lot of interaction between STEM and a makerspace. So there was a need for a makerspace, but we also saw the synergy that could exist between a makerspace and the STEM lab. And so we kind of connected those two on the southeast corner of the library, so that way they can share resources. And then the librarian office would be up in the upper right in the yellow, and then that part or the central portion of the library would be the interaction. That's where the story times would happen. That's where the playtime would actually happen. And then these would be concept renderings of those spaces at this point. And then the classroom and building, existing renovation and the addition, going to break it down into two areas. The southwest corner of the building, we would be taking over 4 of those classrooms, and those would be the new ALE special ed classrooms, and also 1 extra pre-K classroom. And then if we go to the southwest corner behind the cafeteria, making that corridor opening and then transferring those two, just reorienting the openings to those classrooms there. And then where the library and the addition is about 7,300 square feet, a little less than what we had originally anticipated at 8, but reposition or retasking those library areas into new classrooms, and then putting those 5 on the bottom with required restroom facilities, both for teachers and for the students on that side. And that's kind of it in a nutshell. If you'd like to see any of the technical drawings, I brought them with me. I thought it would just be a little easier to go through something a little less than the technical documents.
Thank you so much. At this time, we have a recommendation. We have a motion.
A second.
And a second, that the board approve the design development drawings that have been presented by O'Connell Robertson. Hearing no questions, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Okay. C&I, consider approval of 23-24 campus performance objectives.
Yes, I know that Dalila and her staff have been working on this, so several staff members will be presenting these.
Yes, we have Ms. Anitra Crisp and also Ms. Veronica Sprinkle.
Oh,
That's okay, that's okay. We'll do it that, we're gonna just, if you don't mind, Lord, we're gonna just do it in a little different order.
Yes. Thank you.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Ball, and senior staff. Today, we're bringing you a recommendation to approve the district performance and campus performance objectives. Texas Education Code 11.251A requires the Board of Trustees to annually approve the district and campus performance objectives. After a careful review of overall data from the 22-23 school year and creating a needs assessment by the district leadership team, the district performance objectives were created and aligned to the District 3 goals and the strategic plan to support our commitment to results, growth, and service aligned in our district improvement plan. For Goal 1, Commitment to Results, there are 3 performance objectives to prioritize teaching and learning to ensure the highest quality of instruction, and by increasing percentage points and approaches, meets, and masters in the 2024 STAR scores. Increase performance points and students demonstrating college and career readiness on the 2024 data tables, and to provide teachers with a minimum of 12 hours of professional development to increase engagement and learning opportunities. Goal 2, Commitment to Growth. There are 3 performance objectives to attract and retain highly qualified staff and teachers by increasing staff retention, decrease the gap between student and staff cultural and/or ethnic representation, and through the teacher incentive allotment. We will determine a baseline for teachers to be identified as recognized masters or an exemplary teacher. Goal 3, Commitment to Service. 3 performance objectives in order to support the school community to build a cooperative relationships and partnerships by providing a variety of communications avenues to increase parent and family engagement by 2%. Implement an effective system and process to increase and sustain all stakeholders' participation in school events, workshops, and volunteer opportunities, and implement and increase in a positive feedback through surveys, social media, community forums, and have a strong sense of belonging and pride among all stakeholders. And at this time, I would ask Ms. Veronica Wilson to present the campus performance objectives.
So can we need for the district performance objectives to be approved?
Yes, that's being
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Ball.
Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. At this time, yes, consider approval of the 2023-2024 district performance objectives. I'll entertain a motion.
I move.
Second.
A motion, a second. Questions, board members? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, now, thank you.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Dr. Ball, and senior staff. We are also here today to bring forth each campus's performance objectives for the 23-24 school year for your approval. The Texas Education Code 11.251 through 253 requires each district also develop campus performance objectives for each of their campuses. Each campus develops their individual campus performance objectives using data from the previous school year. These objectives are what they would like to accomplish in the current school year and are used to drive their campus improvement plan. You have in front of you a packet with each of the individual campus performance objectives. Today, I will only quickly review the CPOs from one of the elementary, middle school, and high school campuses. Each of the campuses create their CPOs with their leadership teams after a careful review of their campus needs assessment and their 22-23 campus performance data in academics and attendance. For elementary, we will be reviewing Elm Creek. So you'll see, as you can see, that all of the campus performance objectives are aligned to the district's 3 strategic goals: the teaching and learning, highly qualified staff, and school community and partnerships, along with growth, service, and results. Here you will find Elm Creek's 3 performance objectives that are aligned to the district's goal 1 regarding teaching and learning. So I'm not going to review them in depth, but you can kind of see that what Elm Creek has here for goal 1, you have 3 performance objectives. The first one is focusing on STAR performance. The second one is focusing on kindergarten through 2nd grade and their data on the NWEA MAP growth, reading, and math assessments. And then objective 3 you'll see is about pre-K and the student literacy scores and their improvement based upon their end of year gold assessment. For goal 2, they have 1 performance objectives. You'll see that it is about supporting campus teachers by providing professional development, detailing how many PDs they will have in the fall and the spring, and then focusing on effective lesson planning, rigor, and data-driven instruction. For goal 3, they have one also talking about the increasing opportunities for families to engage with the school community, both on and off campus, in order to strengthen their connection between the school and home. And this will, in effect, hopefully affect student attendance with an increase of about 3% from the previous school year. The second one that we'll review is McAuliffe's for the middle school example. You'll see also that they are aligned. You'll see goal 1 is aligned to the districts. They have 5 performance objectives. First one is focusing on STAR performance. The second is on the extended constructed response for RLA. You'll see that they have career and technology. Objective 4 is talking about prioritizing professional development for effective classroom instruction. And objective 5 is talking about data-driven instruction. For goal 2, they have 3 performance objectives, focusing on training and onboarding new teachers. The second objective is focusing on school culture, and objective 3 is about highly effective PD for implementing best practices. Goal 3, they have 2 performance objectives, focusing on community partnerships, increasing the amount of them. So they specifically said that they would have 10 total monthly community events. And then their second objective is talking about SEL guidance and counseling services for both students, parents, and families. The third example that we have is for high school, and that is with Southwest Legacy. You will see that they also have 5 performance objectives that are aligned with goal 1, talking about STAR data for the first one and third one, and then on the second one you'll see that it's talking about CCMR. You'll also see objective 4 is specifically talking about student support services, and objective 5 is DAEP placements. For goal 2, they have 2 performance objectives, specifically talking about high quality staff and building the capacity of their staff. Objective 2 is about positive school culture and climate by providing effective communication processes, and then campus-wide routines. For goal 3, they have 2 performance objectives, talking about student support services and community and family involvement, and then maintaining a safe learning environment. So at this time, once these are approved by you, then all of the campuses will be putting this on their campus website. So at this time, we are asking for your approval.
Okay. This time I'm entertaining a motion for the board to approve the 23-24 campus performance objectives.
I move. Oh, sorry.
The other can second.
I'll second.
We have a motion to second. Board members' questions. Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, consider approval for Ed Direction contract for ESF Focus Support Grant Schools. Ken.
Yes, this year we are bringing to the board an approval for a company who's gonna come in and provide services to 3 of our middle schools that are part of our target improvement plan. And so we did receive a grant with the Effective Schools Framework, and this grant was for a total of $225,000. So now we're bringing to the board to approve the company that we will be working with, which is called the VIP, the Vetted Improvement Program, which was also vetted through TA. So we're just asking the board for permission through a direction for us to move forward with this improvement program for 3 of our middle schools, McAuliffe, Scovey, and Resnick. So at this moment, I would ask for the board to approve.
And that's paid with grant funds?
And it would be with this grant, is the Effective Schools Framework grant of $225,000.
And they've already, the principals and the admin from those 3 schools have already reviewed them and.
Yes,
feel
we
good.
allowed for so we had several companies, and so we invited the middle school principals. We're gonna be working with this company for them to be part of the interview process.
Awesome, okay.
I'll move.
Second.
We have a motion and second. The board approve the contract with Education Direction for the 23-24 and 24-25 school years at a cost of approximately $225,000 coming from that Focus Support Grant. Questions, anyone? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you, Lenita. And consider approval of 24-25 secondary new courses.
Yes, we also have this coming out of our CNI department.
This was gonna get an applause, I can tell you already.
Yeah, so we're beginning the work with our master schedule. It is the initial part of the beginnings of a very tedious work, very detailed work, which actually happens in the summer. But we do have Ms. Alina Aragon, our ED for high schools, who is presenting our secondary campuses and some of our new courses.
Good evening, Board President Vasquez, board members, Dr. Ball, and senior staff. So tonight I am asking for approval for 13 new courses in the Career and Technical Education programs of study, and also for our dual language programs. So we worked with staff to identify new courses. And so tonight, we want to go ahead and just go over them briefly. So our first set of courses deals with our marketing and sales program of study, which are all electives. And so this is really going to help prepare our students when it comes to managing content on our new scoreboard. So it's going to give them firsthand experience, hands-on experience. So we're really excited about these new electives if they are approved tonight. Our next one is with our cybersecurity program, and so it is going to prepare our students for their industry-based certification, and that'll be their capstone project. Also, for the food science and technology, which is our agricultural program, they will be focusing on the handling, the processing, and the marketing of food. The last set of courses are for our dual language students in middle school and high school level. So these will all be taught in Spanish, no changes to the TEKS. And so we are asking approval to meet Chapter 89 requirements for our dual language framework. And so at this time, I am asking approval for the 13 new courses for the 24-25 school year.
Have me approve of the new secondary courses.
Do a motion?
I second.
Do a motion and a second. Board members, any questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
So of these new classes, which ones offer certification, like a certificate?
So all of them do offer our industry-based certifications,
Okay,
all these, yes.
okay.
The only, right now, the only one is our electives, because these students are right now going through, we're building up the program, so right now, they are getting firsthand experience with these scoreboards, the new scoreboards that were installed. But we are looking to build that program, so it does lead to an industry-based certification.
Because the industry-based certifications, that's what helps us with our rating, right?
Yes,
So,
our CCMR.
of these, so the sports and entertainment is not currently?
Right, currently, we're just giving them exposure, these are just electives, it's not a full-blown program of study. In the future, once we build the interest with our students, then we will look at an industry-based certification on the A through F list to make sure our students do have that opportunity.
So is it only the cybersecurity that is gonna be certified?
Yes, we have 3 right now industry-based certifications with cybersecurity and then also with our agricultural program.
Okay, so the food science processing lab, is that
It's helping them prepare for their industry-based certification, focusing in on the marketing of food, the handling, and the processing.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I have a question. On the cybersecurity certification, is it all of the certification that is needed for the student to finish, exit school, and begin a job? Or are they gonna have to, seek out other certifications?
It's basically qualifies them, it's like a basic help desk job that they can get started with in the industry and then move on to more advanced certifications.
So right now, the 3 avenues, we have the CompTIA, IT Plus, and then we also have our security. So it does provide them an opportunity to enter the workforce, but we definitely want to make sure that they're pursuing education to lead them into a level 1 certificate. So there are stackable industry-based certification that would lead to a level 1 certificate.
Get started, at least.
Any other questions? Hearing none, we do have a motion, a second, that recommends the board approve 24-25 secondary new courses. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, now at this time, we'll go into closed session as permitted by sections 551.001 551.146 of the Texas Government Code, open meetings law pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074. It is 7:47. Back into open meeting at 8:26. And we'll go to item 11.
I second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Other business? Very much welcome.
Invite for.
And what do we tell about the tickets?
Look at you. Says it in
Oh, I didn't see it.
okay. Everyone's okay at 8:26. This meeting is closed.